Yeah, 13 for my last 18. I'm doing extremely well with my picks lately. You see what I did there? I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlogger who always tells it like it is. Had a good time in Portugal. Jet lag was a bitch, obviously, but saw some great sights, walked around Lisbon, had a family party, so no real complaints. Kind of glad I took last week off. Caught cold somewhere between Portugal and home, and I'm finally over it. But back to work, so to speak. I was 6-9 with Super Showdown, and 6-4-9, and 7-4-9 with Stomping Grounds. Sadly, there are 10 matches for this next pay-per-view, the bastard offspring of ECW's One Night Stand. Still, it has some interesting matches. The dual title mixed tag, 2-on-1 handicap title match, both tag titles on the line, a last man standing human kaiju fight, and the Undertaker yet again returning to the ring. Yeah. Well, still, they only had 3 weeks to slap this together. They could have done worse. So here's hoping my picks don't do worse. Here are my official, unofficial, official predictions for Extreme Rules 2019. Excuse me. Let's start with Aleister Black making his return against Cesaro. Did it really have to take this long for Black to come back after splitting with his bestie Ricochet a few weeks after WrestleMania? I mean, really? Black's been a badass long before he and the current U.S. champ teamed up to try for every damned tag title in the span of a week. What's more, he's now facing the Swiss Superman, who is also missing his partner / reason to exist in the WWE. And despite Cesaro's recent wins and decimations, he's slowly becoming a jobber to the stars. Black needs to get back in the swing in a hurry if he's going to stick around. And I think this is where the slaughter will start. Winner is Aleister Black. Last man standing match, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. I mean, let's face it. We all knew it would come to this, right? After that dive bomb into the screen on Raw, the only way this could be settled is seeing who can keep whoever down for a 10 count. And like many other matches of the like lately, I think it'll end with one pulling something on top of the other that said other can't escape from. Now I'm really starting to wonder if Strowman thinks all this is beneath him and that he should be challenging for the Universal title again. But, granted, Lashley's been giving him a run for his money, so this should be the surprisingly great match of the night. Of course, I'm going with Braun Strowman, because until he does get Major Gold, I don't think he's stopping with the slaughter anytime soon. Pardon me again. Tag team no holds barred match. Shane McMahon, best in the world, and Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. Oh, Mark. I think you've been playing that dead man character so much that you actually think you can keep rising from the grave. And who's your partner? The man who became one of the two in 24-2. I really think you should hang up the jacket and hat for good before you get permanently injured. And if anyone can do that to you, it's McIntyre. I mean, Shane could probably sneak in a blow or two like he did a few WrestleManias ago, but Drew is the big threat here to you. You'd better hope that Roman can put him down so you can make Shane regret taking the Phillip Brooks Memorial brag. may this be your last battlefield, Undertaker, and that you and Roman win, because that's my pick. Cruiserweight title, Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese. One of the few slips I had with Stomping Grounds. I guess Drew was ready for the ugly purple belt after all. But Nese is more than prepared to bring it back to his waist if need be. Two long-standing veterans of 205 Live, they should have a hell of a match, which I am hoping is on the main card and not the kickoff. Both are more bruiserweights than cruiserweights, granted, but it should still be quite the close match. But now that Gulak has it, I don't see him giving it up anytime soon. Drew Gulak for the win. Raw Tag Team title match, The Revival versus the Usos. Are the Usos just not enough without A, holding a title, or B, challenging for one all the time? I'm sure they tore through SmackDown's so-called tag division handily, but now it seems they have to do the same to Raw's so-called tag division to stay relevant. But, damn it, the Revival earned those belts. And they certainly didn't deserve to be sneakily beaten by Ryder and Hawkins at WrestleMania for those belts. I am glad they have them back, and as awesome as the Usos still are, I'd like for Dash and Dawson to hang on to them a little longer. Revival wins in a supposed upset. SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Daniel Bryan and Rowan defend against Heavy Machinery and the New Day in a triple threat match. Now, speaking of someone who seems to be nothing without a title, Danny Boy hasn't had the chance to slip in his usual "humans are killing the planet" spiel we've heard him spew since after last Survivor Series. And no sooner does Kofi Kingston take the title away from him than he almost gets another handed to him and Rowan. But let's face it, the tag team division is a joke on SmackDown. I do not want Woods and Big E to win a sixth time. And the recent roll by Otis and Tucker tells me they won't win either. So I guess we'll have to wait a little longer for the planet's champions to get turned into mulch. Daniel Bryan and Rowan retain. United States Championship, Ricochet versus AJ Styles. Well, I guess it was only a matter of time before the club reunited for good since AJ moved to Raw, right? And now Ricochet, well, he called it like he saw it. This is essentially a 3-on-1, unless the ref tosses Gallows and Anderson out sometime during the match. It's possible, sure, but not too likely. It is more probable that the not-so-good brothers will interfere from time to time, and when Ricochet is close to victory, they'll charge in to beat the holy hell out of the one and only. That is, until some team runs in to help eventually. Still, Ricochet will retain, but by disqualification. To be settled at SummerSlam, no doubt. SmackDown Women's Championship Handicap match. Bayley defends against both Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. One way or another, this will be the end of the ersatz friendship between Bliss and Cross. Either Bayley loses, and Bliss just shoves Cross away because she got what he wanted out of her, or Bayley wins, and Bliss blames Cross for not getting what she wanted out of her. Either way, Bayley may end up helping Cross and becoming buds with the Psycho. And I still don't think Bliss has what it takes to take the title by herself. And Cross may be more of a hindrance than any assistance. And that would be a more satisfying way to end the friendship, I'll agree. Bayley retains. WWE Championship match. Kofi Kingston defends against Samoa Joe. Ooh, now here is a David versus Goliath match if I ever saw one. Now, personally, I think that Joe deserves a primary title for all his hard work over the years, and not just in WWE and NXT either. Being US champ was nice and all, but the WWE title has been Joe's calling for a long time, I'm sure. This will be Kofi's toughest battle to date, even more so than the gauntlet before WrestleMania. He either has to sneak in a victory in short time, or drag it out to wear Joe down. And he'll need to quickly counter that coquina clutch ASAP should it be applied. But you know, if anyone can do it, Kofi can. I would say this will also be settled ultimately at SummerSlam, but for now, I'm putting my money on David. Kofi Kingston hangs on for the win. Finally, Extreme Rules mixed tag for both Universal and Raw Women's titles. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch defend against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Not exactly the 4-3-2-1 matches of pay-per-views long past, but it has been a while since two very different titles were up for grabs in the same match. And no, I'm not really counting the women's unification match last WrestleMania that put Ronda Rousey out to pasture. Does Baron Corbin deserve to hold the Universal title? Sure. Sure he does. But the fact that he just can't beat Rollins fairly cancels that out. Does Evans deserve the Raw Women's title? Well, if that's the only thing keeping her from obscurity, then yeah, give it to her. But if she's nothing without a title, she ain't gonna be much with it. Meanwhile, Rollins and Lynch are both hanging tough individually, and the two lovebirds make a pretty decent team together. I'd like to see them in the Mixed Match Challenge Season 3. Though, throw in a match where anything goes, and I'd say that the Beast Slayer and Da Man have it all over the Lone Wolf and the Southern Dingaling. Winners and still champs, Rollins and Lynch. Oh, and Brock doesn't show up. You know he only shows up on major pay-per-views, right? We'll take a look at SummerSlam for him to show up. Those are my picks. Let's keep the momentum going, baby. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is.